Hong Kong, this stunning Asian metropolis, is known as the Fragrant Harbor City. It is not an independent nation, but rather an autonomous region under China's jurisdiction. The city has an interesting history, having been a British colony for approximately 150 years until 1997, when it became a special administrative region of the People's Republic of China. This metropolis is famous for its impressive cultural diversity, elevating it to the status of a global city in Asia. With a per capita income that is astonishing, reaching $72,860, Hong Kong ranks among the top 15 most prosperous areas in the world in terms of national income. Recently, it was listed among the top 10 most productive cities globally, alongside giants like New York and Tokyo. Despite its modest size, covering only 2,755 square kilometers, Hong Kong is a vibrant home to around 7.5 million residents. The city attracts people from all over Asia, especially from southern China, who come in search of work and leisure opportunities. It is also a hub for some of the world's largest technology companies and a melting pot of cultural diversity. When stepping into Hong Kong, one of the first things you'll notice is its dense population. The majority of the residents are of Chinese origin, representing over 90% of the local population. Additionally, there is a significant presence of people from less affluent South Asian countries, such as Pakistan, India, and Nepal, who constitute an important part of the community. These South Asian immigrants often move to Hong Kong in search of better life and job opportunities. They typically send money to their families in their home countries. For example, it is common to find Filipinos working as caregivers for the elderly in the city. In Hong Kong, wages are not fixed but rather based on an hourly rate, a common practice in various parts of the world. In 2024, the minimum hourly wage is 45 Hong Kong dollars, which is approximately $6 USD. Considering a standard 8-hour workday, 5 days a week, the minimum monthly wage would be around $900 USD. It's worth noting that these values apply to less skilled occupations. Professionals with expertise in certain fields may have starting salaries of at least $3,000 USD per month, a considerable amount when compared to international standards. For professionals like dentists, doctors, or engineers working in reputable companies, it's not surprising to find monthly salaries ranging from $7,000 to $10,000 in the Hong Kong region. However, despite these attractive salaries, the cost of living in metropolises like Hong Kong and Singapore is quite high. The limited space in the city leads to a predominant feature of residential skyscrapers, often with 15 to 20 stories. To give you an idea, the monthly rent for a modest apartment with 2 bedrooms and about 50 to 60 square meters can reach around $2,500. In central areas, a 3-bedroom apartment with 100 square meters can exceed $10,000 in monthly rent. It's important to mention that not all buildings in Hong Kong are new. Therefore, high rents don't necessarily indicate luxury residences. There are, for example, buildings known as monster buildings, dating back to the 1970s. These old and worn-out buildings are so iconic that they have become points of interest for visitors, who often stop to photograph them. Looking at these old structures, one can be awed by their grandeur. The idea of demolishing such massive edifices can be both daunting and intriguing, raising questions about the feasibility and desire to live in these areas. Earning well in Hong Kong may not be worthwhile for those uncomfortable with heights or old structures, as life in skyscrapers is common, and many buildings are quite old. The limitation of space in Asian cities like Hong Kong results in high rents and reduced residential spaces. Interestingly, it is estimated that approximately 600,000 people choose to live on boats, in informal settlements, or even on the streets due to these high costs. Furthermore, Hong Kong heavily relies on the import of products, including food, which drives up the cost of living. For this reason, those looking to save money in South Asia often prefer destinations like Malaysia or Taiwan. Budget-conscious tourists or backpackers exploring Asia tend to avoid long stays in Hong Kong or visit briefly. Hong Kong's geographical location is quite strategic. To the north, it is surrounded by mainland China, while to the south, it faces the South China Sea. Taiwan is at a reasonable distance of about 550 kilometers. A flight from Hong Kong to Taiwan takes about 2 hours, with airfares averaging around $100, a convenient option for those looking to explore more of the region. When exploring the map of Hong Kong, you'll notice that the city is divided into three main areas. Kowloon forms the northern region of the mainland, while the southern part includes Hong Kong Island and Lantau Island. These areas are interconnected by bridges, forming a cohesive urban center. This geographical configuration allows for the existence of bustling ports where ships and ferries frequently dock. In such a densely populated city, public transportation, especially trains and subways, is vital. For leisure travelers coming to Hong Kong, it's easy to access Macau, another Chinese autonomous region, by sea or by crossing one of the world's longest bridges, which stretches an impressive 55 kilometers over the water. This structure is a monumental landmark of Chinese engineering. Walking the streets of Hong Kong, you will predominantly encounter Chinese speakers, although as a global business hub, the city has a significant population of English speakers. Most residents speak Chinese as their first language. Chinese cultural influence is evident in local religious practices, with Buddhism and Taoism being the predominant beliefs. Taiwan and Hong Kong maintain a certain level of autonomy from China, which is reflected in their independent management of their currencies and local laws. Unlike mainland China, both places exhibit more democratic structures. One of the crucial reasons for Taiwan's resistance to reunification with China is precisely the issue of democracy. Therefore, both in Taiwan and Hong Kong, one can observe a lifestyle more inclined towards the Western model compared to mainland China. In the streets of Hong Kong, freedoms are extensive. People have the freedom to move around, have fun, make videos, express criticism of the government, and even participate in protests. To visit Hong Kong or Macau, a visa from the People's Republic of China is not required, making access easier. However, if someone plans to go to mainland China after a stay in Hong Kong, a specific visa for that purpose will be necessary. When you walk into a cafe in Hong Kong, you may be surprised to see that some of them also offer laundry services. This trend is also observed in places like Singapore. It appears that these establishments are used by people without fixed housing, who take the opportunity to wash their clothes at affordable prices. While they wait, they can enjoy a cup of coffee. As for public transportation, it's interesting to note that the city's buses and trams are often double-decker vehicles, providing a unique travel experience. To use public transportation in Hong Kong, you need to purchase a special card at the train station, which costs 200 Hong Kong dollars, approximately 25 US dollars. This card is versatile because, in addition to being valid on all modes of public transportation, it can be used for payments at certain restaurants. When you return the card at the end of your stay, you still receive a refund of 50 Hong Kong dollars. Many residents find traveling around the city by train to be an extremely enjoyable activity. For those visiting Asian countries for the first time, getting around the city using trams or other forms of public transport is an affordable and quick way to explore the area. In a bustling city like Hong Kong, it may seem challenging to find a spot on the trams, but don't worry. The city has a fleet of 165 trams, and its railway system is quite extensive. It is estimated that these double-decker trams transport about 200,000 people every day, making it easy to get from one point to another in the city. If you find tram travel a bit slow and prefer to use taxis, it's interesting to note that, unlike the famous yellow taxis in other cities, taxis in Hong Kong are predominantly red. These taxis have become an icon of the city, much like the specific model taxis in New York, and you will see that most taxis on the streets follow this pattern. An admirable aspect of Hong Kong's urban planning is the remarkable cleanliness of the streets and roads, which is impressive given the high population density. Except for rare exceptions in some narrow alleys, it is rare to find litter on the streets. With space being a precious commodity in the city, many restaurants and cafes have found their place on the upper floors of buildings. To facilitate access to these places, there are escalators that lead to the higher parts, offering a unique way to explore the city, not only at street level, but also at heights. On these elevated floors, it's common to find Buddhist temples situated right next to shops and other commercial establishments. During your wanderings in Hong Kong, you may come across some curious scenes. On certain occasions, groups of people can be seen gathered under bridges or buildings, comfortably seated on cardboard spread on the ground. When inquiring about this, you'll find out that these gatherings are common among low-income individuals who prefer to save by dining in public spaces after work, enjoying the company of friends and family while sharing a meal. As you walk the streets, you'll notice that the residents do not exhibit obvious signs of stress or extreme financial difficulties. People seem to lead normal, everyday lives, with their facial expressions reflecting a general state of well-being. It's not uncommon to see groups dancing in the streets. In the narrow alleys, souvenir shops are a common sight, but many residents and tourists seem more attracted to the waterfront. Along the coast, an extensive stretch of concrete is lined with large corporations, becoming a popular spot for photographs. The contrast between the urban concrete and the sea creates a photogenic backdrop, attracting those who wish to capture special moments with this urban landscape as a backdrop. In Hong Kong, it's common to see people capturing moments with their phones or cameras, with the impressive skyscrapers of the city as a backdrop. These photos become precious memories of the visit. Additionally, Hong Kong offers the opportunity to explore its own Disneyland, eliminating the need to travel to Paris for that experience. Hong Kong Disneyland is particularly spectacular at night, with its light shows that transform the atmosphere, taking visitors to a magical and enchanting world. Moreover, the city is known for its many electronics stores. However, exercise caution when shopping in this area. Prices tend to be higher compared to other places, and the authenticity of products sold at stalls or temporary shops may be questionable. There is a risk of purchasing counterfeit items, even if they are advertised as genuine. Hong Kong stands out as one of the 3 global cities with the highest number of billionaires, alongside Moscow and New York. While strolling through its streets, it's common to see luxury cars, and many of their drivers are indeed millionaires or even billionaires. The presence of high-end vehicles is notable in the city. According to reports, Hong Kong is home to approximately 82 billionaires. Interestingly, not all of them are of Chinese origin. For entrepreneurs and investors, Hong Kong offers an attractive tax system, more advantageous than in cities like London or New York. Nightlife in Hong Kong is vibrant and resembles that of other Asian countries, coming to life especially at night. Venues become crowded, and the streets are a constant buzz. Some places even adopt fantasy themes. On such occasions, people dress up as characters they like, using makeup and costumes to resemble these icons. While some dress as pirates, others opt for nurse outfits, creating a colorful and diverse atmosphere. In Hong Kong, local residents, especially the Chinese, take great care of their appearance, and this becomes even more evident in social settings, especially when alcohol is involved. Women, in particular, seem to place a high value on elegance and physical grooming, perhaps even more so than men. You will notice that people in Hong Kong generally dress with style and elegance. Additionally, the city offers a rich variety of street foods, an unforgettable experience for first-time visitors. Observing the locals' enthusiasm for these delights, you will certainly be tempted to try them. It's interesting to note that even amidst the hustle and bustle, street food vendors still take care to wear masks. During the day, it's common to find them cooking in large woks, preparing dishes with ingredients like chicken and fish. The environments of these street food vendors appear cleaner and more hygienic than in many other places in South Asia. Considering that Hong Kong is a port city, the preference for fish dishes makes sense. It seems that Hong Kong will continue to be one of the most popular and expensive cities in the world for a long time. If you enjoyed this video and found the information useful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Until next time.